Yo, what up, tribe? Got our daily live stream. Getting this all set up for you. Got a really powerful guest that's getting ready to join us right now. So what's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's good, crew? What's up? Another powerful day. I got a really powerful leader that's joining us today, so I can't wait to just dive in. I've been to his next level leadership summit. It's really powerful. My man Raul is going to be coming on here. What's good, Jared? What's going on? I see Angie, let's see, Vitale's in here. What's going on? Alicia, what's up? Batista. What's going on, everybody? So just comment real quick. Just what's your first name? I'm just curious. I want to call everybody out by their first name. It's hard with all the screen names, but just drop your name, just so I can see who's in here. You know, yesterday I just realized the power of our name. You know, the power of Gerard Adams, right? And our names have such power. So it's just really proclaim, you know, your leadership. So Stephen, what's going on? Angelina, what's going on? What's happening? I appreciate you guys taking some time midday to jump on here to talk about leadership and talk about entrepreneurship. So I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna be pulling on one of my cherished friendships, someone that I really have a lot of respect for. So let's see if he's on here yet. I don't see him on just yet. So let's see. I'm waiting for him to come on. What's going on, everybody? What's popping? Raul the Edge. We're going to talk about what it means for you guys to come out of this quarantine finding your edge. Raul is one of the most powerful mentors and leaders that I know. His leadership summit was like insane. I know this speech that he gave around leadership is one of the greatest speeches I've ever heard. So I'm really excited to bring him on here. What's up, Raul? Let's pull you on now. Let's see here. Who we got. There we go. So I'm excited, guys. Let's get Raul on. Let's see here.
What's going on, brother? What's going on?
My man, Raul, what up?
Everything, man. I'm alive, man. I survived Corona. I
know. Yo, guys, so first and foremost, my bro, Raul here, we're going to talk about leadership. Like I mentioned, one of the most impactful events I've been to, and that was, you know, he has so many different opportunities. One, it was the next level leadership summit that I went to, but he actually got the coronavirus. Raul, what the hell was that like? And did your wife have it as well? And what was that like?
So we had the leadership summit 5 days before everything broke down. So we were at the leadership summit, and the announcement was quarantine, and all this shit was happening. And at that moment, I saw close to 100 people at the event. I'm like, oh shit, the likelihood that we're gonna get Corona is high here, because people flew from all over the country. They were going through airports. So my wife and I looked at each other and said, well, you know what? We're here to serve. Like, we can't operate in fear. Like, if we cancel this event right now, or if we go backwards, we are buying into the fear. So at that moment, we just went in. We went in, and there were about 100 people there. 10 people got coronavirus, and we were one of them.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're calling it the tiger blood. If you survive the coronavirus, you get the tiger blood. So now you know what death feels like.
That's unbelievable. So really, for me, I feel like what's interesting is I look at you and I know how much of a high performer you are. Like, health is important to you. You're extremely healthy guy. You're a high performer. You're elite when it comes to entrepreneurship. You're a CEO. That's an elite CEO. You build leaders, right? Like, my whole business is leaders create leaders. Like, I'm talking to a guy, guys. We have a guy on the live stream right now that this is what he does for a living, right? He builds leaders. So what did that feel like for you? You know, how humbling was that for you to know that, like, you're a CEO, you're a leader of leaders, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, you get knocked down with this thing, coronavirus. How did that like affect your mindset? you know, your heart, your soul? Like, what was that process like for you?
So here's one thing that I told the guys at the leadership. I said, we're gonna get punched in the face. Like the likelihood that we're gonna get it is high. We're gonna get punched in the face. We have to take a punch. But I had no idea there was gonna be a punch that's gonna knock me the fuck out. Like I had no idea how real this is. You know, I'm one of the guys who I hardly ever get sick. I don't buy into this shit. And in my mind, I said, you know, I'm gonna beat this, or I probably, you know, won't be as bad. But I'll tell you right now, man, it was fucking bad. Like I felt like I had somebody sitting on my chest constantly. I couldn't breathe. I was sleeping 15, 16 hours a day. I couldn't get up. And the fear is real because you feel like you're dying. I didn't want to go to the hospital because you know, I didn't want to get people sick. But then I quarantined myself in the guest bedroom. Then my queen got sick, and that's even worse. I mean, like you could get sick and you could take it. Then my queen got sick, and then my kids were home. So now, like the whole mindset is my worst nightmare coming true, because every single morning, you know, I have a crazy ritual. Yeah. And my crazy ritual, what I do is I picture my kids getting sick. I picture my wife getting sick. I picture me getting sick. Wow. And that's where I kind of draw my strength, realizing that it's just an illusion, right? But now this is real. Now my biggest fear came true. Yeah. It was a humbling moment, brother. It was humbling. And I had conversations with God that I've never had before, and deep conversations. You know, one night I remember I had a high fever and I was struggling going to sleep. And I asked God, like, you know, please heal me. Please heal me. And God answered me back and said, why? Why should I spare your life? Why are you different than all those other people that are dying? Why do you want to live? And that's the moment I realized, like, I had to get clear of why. I had to get clear why I choose to come back, why I choose to do what I do, and just humble myself and realize that I'm not in control. God is constantly giving us what we need in order for us to really get stronger. And that's the biggest lesson. And the lesson that it stopped there, because I remember crying, praying for my kids not to get sick.
Oh man.
You know, and that's probably the worst thing. Like me, I could take the sickness or the pain, but my son has asthma, and I felt like I was pleading with God, said, please, like, don't get him sick. And then my wife got sick, and she developed liver challenges. So it didn't stop there. Like, we've been going through this for a month. And she got what's called jaundice. Like her whole face was yellow, her eyes were yellow, her blood cells were toxic. So it was a fucking nightmare, brother. It was a fucking nightmare.
Oh man. Well, thank God that your family is okay, and so everybody's okay now. Everybody's healthy.
So listen, last week the doctors looked at my wife's blood and they said, like, this, we gotta take you to a specialist, right, and prepare you for the worst, which is a liver transplant. Oh my God. Brother, like, I can't tell you, I've never felt more certainty in my life than that moment, realizing that was not going to happen. I don't know why, because I'm not a fucking specialist. Like, it's right. Like God was kind of like telling me, this is what could happen if you don't have faith. I'm giving you a taste of what happens when you don't fucking believe. But now it's time for us to do the work. So that was 15 days ago. And then we started doing a healing meditation every night with my wife. Within 2 weeks, man, she got tremendously turned everything around. The doctor said she's good now. She's making progress. But we came out of that. It's like we actually got real with how is God using us as leaders through this? Yeah. Like Gerard, I tell you right now, man, like, my spiritual connection has never been higher. My belief has never been stronger. My faith has never been at this level. My purpose has never been more clear. And this had to happen for me to realize the purpose that I have here in this world. And the fact that my kids were able to see it, like my little girl the other day, she started crying saying, Dad, I just can't believe how you operate. Even when you were sick, I was operating like it's gonna be fine. I have this belief that God is gonna take care of us. But it tested my faith, it tested my capacity to lead. And you know, I still have to run the business. I still have my team. I still have team meetings. So I was still showing up. And my team,
you're still showing up. Damn,
man! Every day, I had clients who were fucking like going. I had clients who lost millions of dollars in the market. I had clients who were going through divorce. And listen, I'm in the phone with these guys. I have Corona, but I'm still delivering for these guys. And that was more impactful. The feedback I got from them, I said, Raul, like, thank you for being here when I needed you, knowing that you didn't even have the energy to take care of yourself. Because at
Right.
that moment, Gerard, like, you have to have like a superhuman type of mindset that it's not about you.
Right.
It's not about you. It's not about you and I. It's like what we could do with what God has given us.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. How do you think that, for someone right now that has had that happen or is happening to them now, like how can we tap more into that kind of belief system, that kind of faith right now? How so I remember so many moments in my life, especially during even the last recession. I was that guy. I lost all the money I had saved. I lost millions of dollars in the market. Luckily at this time around, I was smarter. I was more prepared. My mom and my dad it's my nightmare to see someone that's in my family to get sick. But my doctor, since childhood, just passed away from coronavirus. It happened this week.
Real.
Yeah. So I ask everybody to say a prayer. This is real. People are losing their lives to this. He was a little bit older, but he was my doctor since I was a kid. He was my mother's doctor, our whole family doctor, Dr. Giuliano. And at a small town that I grew up in, and he passed away from corona, helping others. So it's very, very real right now. So just, I continue to every single day. But you mentioned one thing, which was that you started to host a very intentional meditation with your wife, Raul. So like, what has been that process like for everybody? How can they start to be more intentional with their practice, whether it's prayer, meditation, both? How can we all be a little bit more intentional right now?
So here's what I recommend is, and I tell this to my clients, your immune system is giving feedback. Life is giving you feedback. Your body's giving you feedback. Listen, if I look back, I was depleted, man. I did event after event. So if it wasn't Corona, something else was going to happen. So I just look at everything as feedback, right? But then when I start looking at how my wife got sick, we started actually going deeper into why the liver, right? The liver is one of the most important organs in the body, right? Yeah. And through the meditation, what we got clear was really going back into the time that she felt that she wasn't enough. And then her liver is feeling that the liver, one of the most important organs in our body, is feeling like, you know what? I'm not going to fucking work today. I'm not going to show up today. And then because you're not showing up, like, who's going to suffer? So we really got clear on every part of our bodies has a role. So if every part of your body has a role, then we are part of a bigger body, right? The bigger consciousness. So every human has a role. The moment that we don't take responsibility for our roles, somebody suffers. Yeah. And that is where you have to realize that you're playing a role here in this world, in this consciousness. And you got to own the fact that you're here for a reason. And if you are stressed out, it's because you're not owning that role and you're not owning that gift.
Yes. Wow. Oh my God. I think it's so powerful. So last night, Raul, I was doing some homework. I've been working with a few, as much as I'm always leading my tribe, my clients. I realize that, like, to be a great leader, I have to continue to invest into myself. I'm sure you can relate, right? So I've been, I have a few different people that I'm working with, but one last night that I was working with was explaining to me the tree of life. And I want to know, what does that mean to you? Because, when he was explaining it to me, and he was explaining, how just like these trees, like we're similar, right? You think of the roots, and he was explaining to me like how the roots is like this brain, and like, you think about this whole family tree, like the branches and the leaves is like part of the masculine and the feminine energy. The roots is more of the masculine, the structure, the roots. And then you have some of the feminine energy, which is like the branches, the leaves, the fruit that's nurtured on from the tree. But like, I just want to know, what is your take on, the tree of life?
It's funny that you say that, because when I was sick, I was meditating outside in my backyard. And it was like a huge wind that came through. Like I live here in Connecticut, on the East Coast, and it's still cold. It shouldn't be cold, but it's still cold. And we actually had snow one day here, and it was a strong wind. It was like branches all over my backyard, branches over in the front yard. And through a meditation, I said, this time, this crisis, only the trees that have a strong root will survive.
Right.
Like we have to be grounded. We have to have a strong root. And I think that for me, the tree of life is the moment that you start rooting yourself and getting grounded and realizing that you have to tap into even your ancestors, like the people who are behind you, grandfather, great grandfather, who are they, right?
Yeah.
And gather their strength from all those tribes, and that's you,
Woo!
because you're part of the branch. And then if you come and maybe you are part of a weak tribe, maybe you were part of the tribe that didn't fought or didn't want to fight, right? When it's your turn to set those roots, your turn to actually kill that scarcity mentality or that fear mentality, and maybe your generation, your lineage. We talked
Right.
about lineage a lot, right? You're
Yeah.
the one who's been called to heal your lineage, and that for me resonated with a lot of the things that you say, because as men we gotta be grounded. If I wasn't grounded, I think my queen would have not gotten better. And I could just imagine, because if I don't bring the certainty into our world, she gets uncertain, and then she gets, women get more sick because they see the fear.
Yeah.
There was times, Jar, that I was fucking crying myself to sleep just thinking about the worst case scenario. But when I was with her, I was like a fucking rock. When I was with her, she felt my certainty. And I think that's what we need to do as men, is really at this moment, we have to be fucking grounded. We have to be rooted. We have to really, truly like ground ourselves. And yeah, we may not have all the answers. Certainty is not having all your answers. Certainty is knowing that you're going to figure shit out.
Right. I absolutely love that. Raul, what have been some of like your absolute pillars? Like when you look at like the pillars that have gotten you to where you are today as a leader, as the father that you are, as the husband that you are, what are those like, those core pillars that you've had to build upon in your life? And then I want to get into some of the core principles that you live by.
So here's one thing that I recommend for everyone. You need to have a structure that you could actually depend on or count on or have certainty on in the daily basis. And I believe for me, like my pillar, man, is like I have an outlet every single day. I invest in myself 30 minutes, a 30-minute ritual that I actually put myself through a process of feeling those emotions, feeling that energy. So it's between emotional intelligence and emotional fitness. Emotional intelligence is being aware of the stuff that you're going through. There's a lot of people who have emotional intelligence, but in moments like this, they crack because they don't have emotional fitness. There's a lot of guys who are like, yeah, man, I have all this meditation, I have all this awareness, but then shit like this happens, and they're the first ones who crack, and the first ones who run away. Emotional fitness is, can you be with the feeling? Can you be with the fear? Can you be with the uncertainty? Can you handle being home and not freak out? There's a lot of depression going on right now because we like fucking lions and caged up, right?
Yeah.
But listen, be still. That's one of the things that I listened to. I was reading the Bible when I was sick, and it said, be still. And that was like, that's where I started realizing that my time right now is to be still and heal, to listen and surrender. So a core principle for me is, you got to continue to feel all your emotions and build yourself up every single day. Is a daily work. It's a daily ritual, daily conditioning, daily and consistent growth. It's not going to happen from one to the next, but if you compound the effect, if you do it on a daily basis, 100 days from now, a year from now, 10 years from now, you're going to be a whole complete different human being.
Yeah. I love that. For me, I've been studying mastery. I've been studying the masters. I've been studying, going back to old philosophy, everything from Jesus to Gandhi to the Egyptians to the Greeks to the Romans. A lot of my grandfather, who died of 100 last year, and I was blessed to have a lot of his wisdom. I would interview him. I remember, my family probably thinking I'm like this crazy kid. What is he doing with a camera? With my grandfather. But I'm really grateful that I was able to capture those moments. And, he always told me that it's already been written to study the old philosophy. So on my leadership journey, I've been really studying that, old philosophy and then marrying that with new modern day principles that you need today to be able to execute and truly activate a life of fulfillment and freedom, right? And find, in all senses. So, you know, I'm just curious for you, like, what has been some of the masters that you've looked up to, and what are some of the, you know, principles that you have learned from? You mentioned the Bible, but have you studied some of the, you know, some of the old philosophy, and what are some of the things that you've taken from that?
So it's funny because I'm very curious.
Yeah.
And I don't like to learn from just books. I like to do things, right?
Mhm.
So I've been studying energy for a long time, and I know you probably know Donnie Epstein. I'm a student of Donnie
Oh
Epstein.
yeah, Donnie. I did
Uh,
an event with Donnie.
and Donnie Epstein is one of those guys who I you know I listen. I'm the first one to admit that I'm a very skeptical guy. So you can't just tell me like, oh, have this thing here. I need to try it. I need to feel it. I need to touch it, right?
Yeah.
So when I met Donnie Epstein, one of his practitioners, I said, listen, I know all that shit that you do is bullshit. Like, I don't believe in all of that stuff. I'm a practical guy. I'm a business guy. I don't believe in energy, right? Okay, so he started working on me. And at that moment, in just one session, he broke through a part of me that I had blocked for a lot of years. So just to give you an example, like these guys are kind of chiropractors who align your spine without touching you. So it's energy work, right?
Yeah.
So in the first session, I was taunting the guy so much that he gave me like a level 10 energy boost. And I just started crying for like a half hour in
Wow.
the table.
Oh wow.
Because I had a blockage in my heart chakra of uncertainty. So
Right.
ever since that, I started to study really the alignments of your energy
Right.
work. I've done a lot of energy work, and I started really seeing how can I model some of the things that are maybe for some people are like woo-woo, like, you know, meditation, energy work, and use it as tools. I mean, I look at martial arts, you know, like they move energy, right?
Yes.
Intention with our mind. We actually able to manifest. Listen, man, I was healing my wife every single night. I was in her body, pushing energy, like that was I was feeling like I was a surgeon going in with my hands and touching her liver so she could have the energy. So that's the type of shit that I believe in, is like love heals. And like, and I told my wife, like, I will never let you fucking die here. Like, I'll do everything in my fucking power to have you live. So I think that tapping into the ultimate energy, which is love. And then from that love energy, what can you create?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
And I think that's where God is, you know, and when God was, you know, when I prayed and I was going through my struggles, like, we complicate shit. It's so simple.
Yeah. It's so
It's
true.
simple. Listen, what was the biggest principle? Love yourself and love others like you love yourself. That's done. That's it. So what I want for you is I want for myself. So I love you and I want you to have success. I want you to have everything that I want. So as long as I genuinely want that for you without any animosity or expecting anything back, I'm just gonna get it. I'm just gonna get it back. That's it. And that's a simple principle.
Yeah. I feel you.
We complicate shit so much because we want to make it hard. But energy, like manifestation, all that, man, business is a spiritual game. This is a spiritual game. So your business, is a reflection of your spiritual work.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. And I believe, like, you know, I always say, improve the leader, improve the business. So what are some like tools that, you know, that people can, tools and tactics that you think that, you know, the entrepreneurs that are on here now, and just everybody who's on here, they can come out of this thing tapping more into that leader within themselves and becoming more of that leader that they were born to be, so that they can actually start to manifest, you know, that freedom, you know, the abundance, the more money, the better relationships, all of that stuff into their life.
So there's three things. Number one, I'll share with you. Number one is start increasing your belief system. And it's not just the mindset. You have to increase your belief system at a cellular fucking level. Like, you have to believe it with every single cell in your body. You're stronger than you think. You were made for abundance. You are not here for scarcity. You're not a victim. Like you're not here just to survive.
Right.
Like, if every single day you program yourself, it's kind of like you have to remember why you're here. Your soul knows you came here to fucking conquer. Your soul knows you came here to fucking prosper. It's your mind that wants to make a meaning of all this shit. Your mind says, well, my parents did this, or the market is doing this, or the president's doing this. You have to lose your mind to find your soul. The moment that you start tapping into a soul level power, You're telling your mind where to go, right? So number one is a belief system. The second thing is now you have to put in
Guys,
the work.
drop some fire emoji. That was fire right there. I love that.
Then,
Okay, okay.
then you start putting in the work. Okay, now what can I do as a spiritual being? Now I have to get into the grind. Now I have to get into the hustle. You can't just fucking meditate yourself to wealth. You're not going to meditate yourself to the level. Now it's time for you to get your hands dirty. And it is progress, not perfection. Stop being afraid what people think, what people will say, like progress. Every single day, just build your kingdom brick by brick. Like video by video, message by message. Fuck like the perfection mentality. You need to create progress. And the third is commitment. Man, you got to be committed to a higher version of yourself. You have to be committed to serving. You have to be committed to something. If you're not committed to nothing, you're not going to get anything. Because that's what I see here. Like the people who are failing and people who will fail is because they were truly not committed to greatness. They were maybe chasing success, but they were not committed to greatness. Like commit to something bigger than just success, man. Commit to something bigger than just getting paid. Commit to something better than just getting laid. Commit, man. Commit. And the moment that you have something that you're committed with, like you will fucking die. You will die for that. Like when I was with my wife, I would die for this woman. And you know, you've met my wife and I. We have this soul level connection that will fucking go to hell and bat for this woman. And that's what gives me the fire to fucking continue to push through. So when you have that type of commitment, man, like fucking Corona, like hell could break loose, you will fucking live. You will find a reason to live. And that's what God asked me. Why? Here to fucking create an impact. I'm here to like use me. Use my wife and me. Use me so I can fulfill your purpose.
Yeah. Talk to me about, one of the things that, we have so many things in common. I look up to you. I admire you. I admire your leadership. I just want to honor you and say thank you so much, Raul, for what you're doing. It's really powerful. I'm here for you. I'm another soldier out here leading leaders, and you can call upon me at any point in time. I look forward to when this ends, being a part more of your boot camps and supporting you more on your journey. One of the things that I think we both have a passion for also is community. I know what I'm doing with Leaders Create Leaders. I know what you're doing with your company as well, the edge. So, how important has that been, and how can someone, whether it's join one or like actually create one themselves, how do you go about actually fostering right now a strong culture and a strong community?
So I get asked that question a lot because I have a strong community. We're not millions, but we're fucking strong.
Yeah, like a tribe.
People confuse numbers with quality. And I think that even if you have like 2 or 3 motherfuckers in a row with you, that's your community. You could build them. Yeah. So instead of looking for, I want to have 1 million people in my community. No, go deep, not wide. Woo! Go deep and really build relationships, because here's like, I'm building a community and these guys were fucking like, they were praying for me when I was sick. I got hundreds of messages of guys praying. Like, I'm not talking about just like, hey, I'm praying for you, brother. Like long texts, like praying for me, messages of like, so you have to build a community that you really are willing to go to war with, and they're going to be going to war with you. So when you build a community, make sure you're not looking to save people. There's a difference between the savior mentality and the leader mentality. A savior will get millions of people because it's easy to get people to follow you if they're looking for a savior. Look, Jesus, has billions of people following because he's a savior. But you're a leader. You were called to be here to lead. So get around the people that want to be led. Not that you have to push or pump up or motivate to be led. Is that people who said, okay, I'm going to roll with you. And the second thing is, if you want to build a tribe, you have to be part of a tribe. You can't just automatically just wake up and say, I'm going to build a tribe. Leaders follow other leaders. Leaders like really connect with other, like, I've invested millions of dollars in different communities, man. I'm part of different communities. I consider myself like the William Wallace, like, bringing guys together from different tribes and putting people together. We're going to fight, at this moment, the coronavirus at one point. But that you have to look at yourself as that guy that it's not about what's in it for me or this is my guy or this is only, no. It's about every single one of us really creating a strong community. I'm building a deep connection, because if another word for community is connection.
Yeah.
Like, people are disconnected. We're looking for connection. We're looking for a deeper sense of even friendship and brotherhood, you know. And you know, it wasn't until a couple of years that I would actually acknowledge, you know, like, I say to guys, hey, I love you, brother. I love you. Before, it used to be like, hey, I love you. But now it's like meaning that and having the love at a level of like, man, what I want for you, I want for me. Like, you are a mirror of me.
I got a question here from Evangela. What draws people to want you to lead? I've always wondered why it is when you're placed in a group project, even when no one knows each other, one person always stands out. It's quite amazing to see. I think that's true. Because you know, it's interesting though, because sometimes, because we've been talking about this in the community, there's moments when I know that I need to lead, but there's also moments when I know I need to step back and be led.
Yeah.
There's been those moments too.
And it's great. It's funny you say that, because at my boot camps, when they come, everybody's a fucking leader. Like, everybody's a leader. So there's no shortage of leaders when you get around people. Everybody wants to be, but the true leader is one who actually is going to be able to say, okay, I'm willing to follow. I'm willing to follow. So I think that naturally we mistake leadership for significance a lot. And I've been guilty of that. I remember I went to an event, and I give you a quick story. I went to a Tony Robbins event many years ago in Fiji, right? And Tony puts people in groups, right? And kind of plays the game of like, we're gonna create companies, and the group that leads the best is gonna get a prize, and the weaker group is gonna get punished, right? So this is my second time in Fiji, so I already knew the game. So I said, hey, I know how to fucking win this, man. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna recruit. It was less than 100 people in that event. It was a small event. So we're gonna recruit every other team. We're gonna be the biggest team, and we're gonna win this game. So I'm the youngest guy there. I was at that point, and people looked at me like I was crazy. But I said, yeah, go ahead, Raul, go do it. So I introduced myself to every single person. I recruited, like 50% of the room was already in my team. But I didn't want to be the leader. I said, you know what? I'm just the broker. I'm just the idea guy. There was no shortage of guys saying I want to be the leader. But people said, no, unless Raul leads, I'm not in this team. So I said, okay, I'm going to fucking lead. So I took him. I took 50% of the room. 50 guys showed up. The next day, we painted our faces like warriors. We came in, and Tony was like, man, this fucking guy's intense. Like, I like the energy, right?
Yeah.
But it got into my head. Then I said, like, 50% of the room is not enough. I need everyone to fucking be my team. I need everyone to like me, right? So I put a vision in my mind to recruit 100%. I said, wouldn't it be nice if we recruit 100% of the group? When Tony comes into the room, like, there is no fucking losing team. There's only one team. We all won, right? That was the vision, right?
Damn.
But there was one team that didn't like me. There was one small team that thought I was an asshole, because, you know, leaders sometimes were mistaken by assholes, right? Yeah. So they didn't want to join. They didn't want to join, and they came to me and said, Raul, I think what you're doing is egotistic. I think what you're doing is not right. We're gonna be the outside. I said, okay, great. So I said, well, you're gonna fucking lose. If you don't join me, you're gonna fucking die, right? That was my mentality. Join me or die, right? So they broker a deal that we will change. Look at this, how we, like, this was almost 10 years ago. Look how much we banned for people to like us, right? I banned it so they could join my team, and I submitted to their wishes so they could like me. So therefore we changed everything just so this little small team could join our community, right? So when Tony came in, there was no more energy because the game was over. Like, we recruited everyone. So, and Tony knew what was going on. So he got up to the stage, looked at me, and he just fucking started ripping me a new one, pretty much saying how this is how communism gets started, where there's no winners, when you take the drive out of people, you know, like when everybody gets the same, nobody wants to fight this, you know, you end the hunger. And I felt like, fuck this, I did this, right? My intention was to have oneness, but then the human part of it is like, okay, the game is over, right?
Yeah.
So the next day, I'm coming in with fucking vengeance. I said, fuck that shit. Like, I'm coming in with my core team. I think we had like 8 guys at that level. and we conquered it. We got the whole community back, and we kind of played the game. But at the end of the day, Tony announced the winning team and the losing team. And this is how crazy I was. I was already thinking I was going to be the winning team because I made the most noise, right? I was already thinking about who I'm going to thank, about my general here, who I'm going to thank, like the Oscars, right?
Wow.
He calls me up, and I was the losing team.
Wow.
I'm going to call up Raul, and Raul is going to share with you why, you know, he lost his shit and why he's he's the leader of the losing team. Gerard, I went on the stage and I started ripping Tony a new one. I'm like, fuck Tony, you full of shit. You're a fucking fraud. You know, this is why. And people looked at me. I wish I had video. We didn't have social media back then, but somebody has video of that. Tony was speechless. People were looking at me like I was fucking crazy. This kid on the stage telling Tony that he was full of shit at his own event, right? And then I realized, I looked back and I have 50 people behind me. And then I realized that I needed to learn how to lose.
Yeah.
That was the first step of me. Like then I started to break down and say, fuck, you gave me the biggest gift. I need to learn how to humble myself and lose and really take the opportunity to see that it's not about me, it's about what I could do for the community. And that was the beginning of my warrior stage, because I was a warrior at that point. I wanted to win at all fucking costs. That was the transition from a warrior to start thinking like a king. Like the Raul had to die so the king could rise.
Right. Wow. So powerful. Thank you for sharing that story. I mean, I don't know many people that would go against Tony like that, but that's really cool to be in Fiji. I can only imagine that, and your will to win, but then you getting that lesson, and it was like that, you having to let go of the ego.
Yeah.
I think that was really powerful. I got a question here, Raul, and we'll take one more question, guys, and then I'm gonna let Raul go. He's a man on a mission. He's got a whole business, the CEO of a company, family man. I appreciate you taking time to be on here, bro. So someone asked a question about what is the difference between leaders and people that lead, which I think is an interesting question. Is there a difference? Do you believe that there's a difference between people that are leaders versus people that actually lead?
So I think everybody has the capacity to be a leader, right? And not everyone who's a leader has to be the guy, right? But we tend to be attracted to the individual who has the vision. We tend to be attracted to the person who has sometimes the voice to speak up. And one of the things that I tell my employees is like, I'm not here, like I'm building you as a leader. I need you to take ownership. I need you to lead. You're not here just to, clock in, clock out. I think that every single one of us, we need to take ownership of being leaders. But if we've been called to lead a movement, is a different energy. Yeah. Because it's easy to lead a team, but when we call to lead a movement, like when I started doing this, Gerard, like I still am in the real estate business, but doing this is a complete different thing. And people in the real estate business thought I was fucking crazy because now I'm doing something that's outside the box. And it was a calling, and people asked me, Raul, why are you doing what you're doing? And I had to acknowledge that it was a calling. It was a deep calling for something bigger, for something better for me and the people around me. That's what leaders do. Leaders, sometimes doesn't make sense. People who lead are the ones, okay, I want to lead you to an end. I want to lead you to a goal. But leaders, sometimes doesn't make sense. Like, look, when you started doing your program, it was probably easier for you to go back to the old ways if you were focusing on just being successful and being the status quo. It doesn't make sense for us to do what we do.
Yeah.
We are.
It can't be about money. It's a bigger calling. It's a deeper rooted soul, purpose.
And that's what leaders, for me, that's what leader has a deeper calling, right? So now you have also leaders, like right now we have, people in the government that are leaders too, and they have precision, and because they have precision, they could lead people. But a true leader is really somebody who has a deeper calling, and sometimes it doesn't make sense, why to pursue that, because it's really something more for them as a legacy play than the immediate return on the current situation.
Yeah, well, I love it, bro. You're living your legacy is what I've been saying. You know, you're actually living your legacy now. And I just want to honor you, bro, for everything that you're doing, the movement that you're creating, the men that you're leading. So many men right now that are out there that are married men or divorced men that are looking to get their edge back, that are looking to step into that leadership position. And I just think it's really admirable. So I appreciate you taking time today. I can't wait to see you when this all ends. I will pray for your wife. I will pray for your kids. I will pray for you and what you're doing. And I can't wait to connect with you further after this, bro. But thank you so much, brother. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you soon. Is there
Listen, man.
anything at all any last words, Raul? I want to make sure all of you follow Raul. See that, you know, learn more about his journey, learn more about what he's got going on. I know you have a podcast as well. Is there anything else, Raul, right now that I can just bring some awareness to currently?
Yeah, just know, like, whatever you're going through right now, like your followers and yourself, man, like, now is the time that we're being shaped. Now is the time that we're being molded. Now is the time that we actually realign with our values, realign with our mission.
Yeah.
Now is not the time to contract. Now is not the time to dwell on how things were before. Now is not the time for us to think that the past is better than the present. Now is the time. That's the biggest opportunity that we're gonna have, Gerard. That what you're doing, brother, I admire you so much, because what you're doing comes from the soul. It's a soul purpose. It's a fucking mission. You know, and God in the universe has given you all the fucking tools. Never doubt what you do. I know in my journey, that little voice in our head sometimes is telling us that we're not enough or we're not doing enough. You gotta fucking eliminate that motherfucker on a daily basis and allow that bigger voice that comes deep inside your soul to heal you, to prosper you, to be able to fulfill your mission and your purpose, because you're here for a fucking reason. And that goes to every single one of you who's watching. You're bigger than Corona. You're bigger than a pandemic. You're bigger than this fucking crisis.
Hell yeah.
Surrender, humble yourselves, and allow the universe and God to work through you.
Yes. I love it, brother. Thank you so much for being that vessel and that voice. Gosh, I love it, bro. Thank you so much, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So, guys, thank you so much for taking some time again today. I thought that was really, really powerful. I was really just really touched by Raul. He's a man of God. You know, everything he said, it resonates with me deeply. So I appreciate you guys taking some time today. Make sure you go send him some love, comment, send him a DM, let him know that was pretty powerful if that touched your heart. Share this with a friend. And you know, guys, I'm here for you. You know, I'm going to continue to build out the Leaders Create Leaders community. It's a lot right now. It's private. You know, my private mastermind. I have a private accelerator, but I'm going to be opening up the community soon. I have season 6 of Leaders Create Leaders coming out. I launched the podcast. I'm going to be taking that from 1 episode a week to 2. So I'm doing everything I can to show up for you guys every single day, and continuing to listen to my soul's purpose. You know, really, it's something that is just so deep in my heart and in my soul to lead for this generation and for future generations, for all of us to step into being that leader. So I love you guys. Thanks for being a part of this community. Continue to be that leader for yourself, for your family, for your community, for the world. And I'll see you guys later. Love you. Peace.